Okay, the second stage is to extend these lines here, the eye line and the ground line, and set up the vanishing points. So just going to extend these across the page, just take them all the way to the border here, right the way across. Okay, now we're going to set up our vanishing points. Because this is a 2-point perspective drawing, we're going to have 2 vanishing points, and we need to look at the SP, the spectator point down the bottom here. This is where you imagine you're standing looking at the building. So this is your sort of point of reference. And what we do is we take our 45 set square, we line this up with the spectator point, we sort of target on the spectator point, and we draw a line up, and we continue it up until it hits the picture plane. And when we hit the picture plane, we draw a line straight up from there until we hit the eye line. And we mark a wee dot there, and we're going to call that vanishing point 1, EP1. And we do the same on the other side, from the spectator point up to the picture plane, and then up to the eye line, and we mark that vanishing point 2. Okay. The important thing is that these 2 lines are parallel with the sides of the building, and you can see that they are, and by using the 45 square then we're able to achieve that. Okay, the first side we're going to start with is this side of the building here, which we call the gable end, or in this it's called the west elevation, right? So we're going to be drawing this shape here in perspective. The way that we do that is we start off at the spectator point, and we're going to draw a line through this corner, this corner, and this corner. So from the spectator point through each of these corners all the way up to the picture plane. So the first one through there, the next one through here. Be as precise as you can, because a slight movement in the wrong direction, even a pencil width out, can throw out the drawing. Okay, so you should have 3 lines going to the picture plane. Now what we're going to do is we're going to draw a line up, from each point, and often when you do these, the final line is going to go below the picture plane. So I'm just going to go up there and then down a wee bit, down a bit, and then down a bit, and you'll see why in a minute. Okay, so we should have 3 lines going through each corner, and then line going up and down a bit, up and down a bit. Okay, now to find the height of these lines, we have to draw in what's called a height line. And the height line is taken from the sizes on the west elevation. Now there's basically 3 heights that we're interested in. We've got height 0, which is the ground, height 1, which is to the top of the top of the wall if you like, and then height 2, which is to the top of the roof. What we do is, to do a height line, you take your set square, you line it up with the end of the building, and you extend the line till you hit the picture plane. You then draw a line straight up from that, And if you can mark that height line, I'm just going to call it height line HL1, height line 1. Okay. Then starting at the ground level, I'm going to mark 0 because that's where the bottom of the building is, or the ground level is. Then using my compass, I'm going to measure the distance from 0, the ground level, to 1, which is the top of the wall. And then I transfer that on, starting at 0 here, mark that on to the height line, and I write number 1 next to that. And then I measure from 0 up to 2, which is the top of the roof. And again, starting at 0, mark that on, and call that number 2. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to draw lines from vanishing point 1 through each of these heights that I've marked, and that's going to allow us to work out where the top and the bottom of these lines are. Now, that line relates to that line relates to the top of the roof, and that line relates to that wall there. Okay, so I'm going to start off with the line on the left hand side. To find the top of it, which is at height 1, I'm going to draw a line from the vanishing point through height 1 until it hits the first line, and we're going to extend it until it hits the third line because it's at the same height, and we're going to mark a dot there. So a dot there and a dot there. The bottom of that wall, or that side and that side, I get by going from vanishing point 1 through height 0 effectively through the 3 lines. So that's the bottom there, that's the bottom there. To find where this middle one's height is, you've guessed it, you go from vanishing point 1 through height 2, which is the top of the roof, until it hits the middle line, and we mark a dot there. And now I'm just going to firm in the lines in between the dots. So a line there, line there, line there, and a line here and here. That's us got the gable end, less the window, which we'll do later on.